are at the put-in of an awesome whitewater river. We've got incredible Class 1 and 2 whitewater down below us. We're sitting in this eddy. We've discussed what an eddy is. We got to figure out how to get from this eddy across that eddy line into the current. Believe it or not, that's one of the key skills for whitewater kayaking. Once you can manage and learn the eddy out and the peel out, you're going to be set for the rest of your paddling career. So what do we need to do to get out of this eddy? Well, number one, we need to pick an angle that's going to be the right angle to cross the eddy line. That angle is generally 45 degrees. If you want to do a peel out and just hit the current and head on downriver, 45 degrees pretty much you can never go wrong with. After a little bit of practice, what you'll notice is if you peel out too quick, meaning your bow turns down quicker than you want, face upstream more. If you find that you get rejected from the eddy line and end up back in the eddy, you need to angle out towards the river a little bit more. Those are your basic instructions for crossing the eddy line as far as angle goes. The next thing is you're going to need some speed. You don't need a ton of speed, but the more speed you come out of the eddy onto the eddy line with, the quicker your entire boat is going to cross that eddy line, which is the most difficult part. The most difficult part is when your rear end and the boat is actually sitting on the eddy line. So get some speed in the eddy. How do you do that? You start low in the eddy. You start paddling with forward strokes. You get some speed with some forward strokes. Reach across the eddy line. One hard forward stroke across, and off you go. There's another thing you need to know every time you cross an eddy line or any current differential. When you cross an eddy line, what you're going to find is all of a sudden the water is pushing on the top upstream side of your boat. It's accelerating your boat down the river. Basically what it's trying to do is push the boat out from under you. If you don't lean your boat slightly downstream by lifting that upstream knee, you're going to trip, you're going to fall over. This time we're going to have Emily come out. She's not going to lean downstream. We're going to see what happens. Emily's just going to peel out of the eddy, sitting straight up, keeping her boat flat. Watch what happens. Pushes the boat out from under her. Now she saved herself with a brace. That's very cool. Okay, now we're out in the current. We're floating down the river. What's the next thing we have to be able to do? We need to be able to eddy out. Eddying out is the most key skill to have once you're in the middle of the river, because with the eddy out, you can stop your downstream speed, you can get to shore, you can get out of the boat if you need to. So the eddy out is just as important as the peel out. Now to eddy out, remember we talked about some of the lingo and the anatomy of an eddy. I'm sitting in what's called the pocket of the eddy. The pocket of the eddy is where if you just sit there without your paddle in the water, you're not going to be drifting downstream at all. A lot of people spend too much time out here in the danger zone. This is out on the eddy line. You sit here, you're going to find yourself all of a sudden getting stuck on the eddy line and getting squirreled around. You're also going to find you're going to have to paddle to keep yourself in position. The pocket of the eddy, which is all the way in here, where there's either no current or the current's coming upstream, that's your safety zone. That's the place where you can hang out. And that's the place you should, in the beginning, shoot for every time you catch the eddy. Watch this. I'm going to peel out. I'm going to get some speed. I'm going to forward stroke across, leaning downstream. Now I'm going to come and I'm going to eddy out. I'm going to reach across, pull myself in, and keep pulling until I get into the pocket of the eddy. Now I'm good to go. Here's the mistake you're going to find yourself making more often than not if you don't remember to always go for that pocket. You're going to peel out. Here you are in the current. You're going to be coming for the eddy. You're going to think you're across the eddy line. Oh, here I am. I'm in the eddy. Now you're going to stop and you're going to realize, wait a second, I'm still drifting. I'm not in the eddy. Then you're going to have to give it some gas and try to work your way into the pocket. Now as the current gets faster, the negative result of eddying out on the eddy line becomes greater. You end up not only being swirled around, you also end up drifting out the bottom of the eddy, missing the eddy entirely. So the pocket is what you're looking for. What kind of angle do you eddy out at? Just like when you peel out pointed upstream. If you want to get in the pocket of the eddy, you need to eddy out pointed downstream. The reason for that is because when you eddy out, the eddy is going to turn your boat. The more downstream angle you have, the further into the eddy, the deeper into the pocket you're going to go before your boat points upstream again. So watch this. I peel out, okay, now I'm going to come into the eddy. I get some speed across the eddy line, pointed downstream, reach across the eddy line. I do a forward stroke, nice long forward stroke all the way until we're in the pocket. Now for more detailed information on crossing eddy lines and really becoming efficient at it, my Strokes and Concepts DVD will do the ticket for that. But for now, we're going to stick to the basics. Once you can peel out and head downstream and you can eddy out, your next skill you're going to learn is the ferry. The ferry is simply going from one side of the river to the other without losing any real ground. Your objective is to adjust your speed and angle in a way that allows you to peel across the eddy line without getting turned downriver. Now, if you remember, we were peeling out at a 45-degree angle a little bit ago. With the ferry, we're going to peel out pointed a lot more upstream. Instead of 45 degrees, we're going to peel out at 10, 20, or 30 degrees at the most. So it looks like this. Same technique as the peel out, except you're going to angle upstream more, reach across, forward stroke. You make it across the eddy line. Now just go ahead and paddle right across. Come into the other eddy. Look at that. We're on the other side of the river now. Wow. The view's pretty cool from over here. I think I'm going to go back though. Why? My kids are on the other side. Hey Nick, come on over. Let's ferry across. Peel out, point it upstream, get across in control, take a few strokes. Whoa, we're in the other eddy on the other side. This is fun stuff. Once you can peel out, eddy out, and ferry, you can run the river.